most of my Atlanta groups too. So
we're live now. Whoop, whoop. So I'm excited about this. Hey, y'all. For those of you who are tuning in, I'm going to give you a minute or so to tune in. Tonight, we have a special guest. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of entrepreneurship, the pitfalls, the difference between self-employed, being a business owner. We are talking to Dr. Ladre. He is a spiritual coach for entrepreneurs. And we're also going to be talking about some legal, how you need to be protected in your business legally and why that's so important during this time. So we have a full show on today. As always, with our speakers and our guests that we have, we will try to keep the show to an hour, but y'all be pulling stuff out of us while we're live. So we definitely want you to comment as you're tuning in. Comment, let us know where you're watching from. Comment below with your business, your website link. Tell us some things about yourself. We're going to give you a shout out here. And I don't want to delay because literally before we went live, me and him had a conversation, and I'm excited about talking to him tonight, the wisdom that he'll bring. He has he just showed me his library, a huge library of books. He is a reader. He's a connoisseur of information. And so I just want you all to experience this goodness tonight. Hey, David. So welcome to the live. Drop your business below, share your website, and share this video. Okay. So without further ado, Dr. Ladre, tell us who you are. Tell us about yourself.
Hey everybody, Ladre Weathersby. That's what's on my birth certificate. People get on all of my nerves because they want to throw all these titles like it's a part of their name. No, Ladre Weathersby is my name. I'm originally from Chicago. I've been in Atlanta for 22 years in August. I came here for college. And when I tell you I have not been home in 22 years to live, but I still see my family, I have all kinds of stuff to share. So let's jump in. I need to warn you, I'm locked and loaded. I showed Darbi my office. She was like, what? Like, I don't know too many folks who have over 500 books on different subjects. Yeah, I'm locked and loaded. So listen, literally, as you've got questions, drop them in the chat. We'll come back and we'll work with them and we'll do what we do. And if we go over, we just go over.
We're just going to be free tonight. So first of all, you know, we talked about, so what's happening right now with the recent events that's happened with George Floyd and so many of our Black men and women and what's happening on a social, a political, economic, there's just so many levels that all of us are evolving. I feel like it's a purging season for all of us. What are your thoughts in reference to that and how that affects the psyche of entrepreneurs seeing this is what's going on? Because now there are riots going on in the streets. You know, people are attacking businesses, business owners, corporations. So whatever happens socially, we can't ignore it because it can and it will affect your business.
Absolutely.
What are things that we as people can do to cope during this time and also begin the healing process?
Well, let me preface what I'm about to say. I have a female pastor, and she told us in November of last year, I want to say, she said, I've been praying a little bit, and I've got, you know, our focus for 2020. She said it's the year of clear vision, but it's the decade of clear vision. And of course, most people, when they hear something like that, they immediately think people are going to finally see my worth or something like that, or people think that I'm finally going to be able to get to the truth. And what we have been experiencing in just the first 6 months of 2020 have been literally a clarifying and a seeing for what things really are. I'm excited on one hand because for so long we have deluded our own selves and we believed the obvious lie. I'm watching Hidden Colors right now, so I'm not even talking about the lies that were cleverly interwoven and hidden. We have believed the obvious lie. It reminds me of every kid in the kitchen who wants to play with the stove. You're a parent, you understand. Every kid is just wowed by whatever the stove looks like.
That's my son. He's doing that right now, and he's only 1.
Right. And so the challenge is no matter what you say to a kid, once they've been captivated, sweet Jesus, once they've been captivated, they're not going to stop until it's that itch you scratch, so to speak. And you can tell them it's hot. They don't understand what hot means. You can tell them it hurts. They don't really understand what hurt means. Because even if they've hit their head a couple of times, I mean, their kids are going, ow, ah! Okay, I'm back. But the stove presents a level of pain, and a level of pain that lasts a while. You know, burns are goofy. It's not like a paper cut, you know, the next day you good. No, a burn is going to be sensitive for days, weeks, depending on how severe it is. And so we've been held captive by this lie. But what drives me nuts is we got our hands on the proverbial stove, but we won't move it. That's what irritates the molecules in my blood. That's what irritates the atoms in my breath, because kids understand, damn, this hurts. Let me move my hand and I will win. Never put my hand back. But grown folks, we bitch, we moan, we complain, we cry, but we never take action. And one of the things that's driving me nuts is yes, like everybody, I'm tired of the cycle. But the cycle is only broken when there's action, not just words. And so I put a post up on Facebook earlier. Which one are you? Because we just got to stop waiting for somebody to be the one. Now, here's the challenge. I can't be every of the one. Somebody's got to organize politically. That's not me. Somebody's got to organize governmentally. That's not me. Somebody's got to organize spiritually. That's not me. So we heal when we recognize that we are the one, but we've got to step into our oneness and support the other ones. I know my lane. It's finances and it's life. Because if your finances is jacked up, you really don't have much of a life. So I stay in my lane. I expert my lane. I grandmaster my lane. I train in my lane. I dig out, sweet Jesus, my lane. But I can't be so focused on my lane, because we're multidimensional, multifaceted, that I don't support the other ones who are running their lanes. So thank you, Darbi, for being the one when it comes to business credit. Thank you for supporting the other ones, because the only way we're going to make it, I told you I don't want to see Raven tonight. The only way we're going to make it is if we become the one and support the other ones. And support cannot just be a like on Facebook. Support cannot just be a nice job. Support cannot just be I hear you, I see you. Support has to be get off your ass. Support has got to be work with the ones around you. It's got to be the 6 degrees of separation in action. I told you I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm trying my best.
Listen, this is Money Talks. When I talk to you all, this is an extension of who you are, who I am, and what our audience is looking at. So come on, bring it. Let's talk about it, because until we talk about it, until we address it, until we bring and expose the scab that's been in front of us for all of these years as African Americans, as business owners, especially for our Black men. I have a Black son. So there's no way that even with me, and I'm an entrepreneur, this affects us all at all levels. There's no way we can separate what's going on socially from politics, from what affects our households. So we have to address this, especially when we're tax-paying citizens and our ancestors built this country and we were here first. We need to address this and talk about this, because there's no way that as an entrepreneur, we can advance as a whole when one part is missing. Yeah. And one of the things that I agree in is organization and strategy. One thing that we can learn from Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Fruit of Islam, what we can learn from our ancestors who came before us is that they literally organized, organized in the church, organized in their homes, organized. And it's interesting that we're in a time where we are being asked to quarantine, right? We're being asked to stay at home, but yet there are riots that are happening in the streets. So we're living in times where our protection right now is in our homes, because it will get wild on these streets, because now what's happening is that the people are beginning to put justice in their own hands.
Yes.
The riots are the effect. The cause is hate. racism, being viewed as inferior, fear. That is the effect. No one has a right to say anything about a cause until you first address the effect.
Right. Right. My little brother from high school, he created a saying, and I heard him when I saw it today. I was like, hold up, that's good. It's his saying is white inferiority. Give me a second, I'll find it. Mm-hmm. White inferiority supreme. I think. I gotta put this exactly as he says it. I don't want to cheat anybody of the wealth that he put in there.
I understand. I definitely understand. For those of you who are watching, you're tuning in tonight. We're going to talk about the pitfalls. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship. But first, because of what's happening in our world, we are going to address our Blackness while we're here live today. Because it's obvious I am a Black woman, and I'm speaking to our audience, and I'm talking to our people, because in a time like this, who can we talk to? We are a community, whether it's on this level, whether it's on an international level, we are our own community. We are family first. So we're going to talk about this, y'all. If you have any questions about entrepreneurship, if you have any struggles or challenges that you're experiencing, we're going to address that. But right now, first order of business is talking about our rights and our God-given divine rights, and understanding that our ancestors have fought for us to be in this moment. And there's an uprising that's happening right now. There's an awakening that's happening right now. And do you perceive it? Do you all see what's really going on?
Because really going on.
What's really going on.
And that's why I had to preface what the conversation with the words of my apostle, because so many people were thinking 2020 would be what we could see clearly in the positive sense. And I'm not saying that it won't be positive, but how many times do we sweep shit under the rug? So here's what my little brother says. He says his term is white inferiority terrorism. Because Hidden Colors talks about this too. White folks know at a deep subconscious level that they are inferior because they are the minority. So what they did was they initiated the game of checkers, and when we realized they were playing checkers, we decided to play chess. You can't play chess when they playing checkers. They brought a game to us that we weren't ready for, and we're still playing the game and we ain't ready. Because they set up all of these systems, all this stuff that became a system, and it's kicking our butts. So when I saw him talking about white inferiority terrorism, I said, boy, you better coin that. You better put it in as many places on social media so that it always comes back to you, because that's exactly what's going on. That's the reason that Black Wall Street died. And every time we have done something that threatened them, they went on the attack because we wasn't ready. We got the Second Amendment rights too. Lord help us to carry arms. Now watch this. Now it's a whole bunch of stuff we can use as weapons. But if you come after me with a butter knife and I got an AK-47, you will lose every time. It's not a whole lot of strategy you can use when we are 800-900 feet apart and you only got a butter knife.
Yeah, or you're singing hymnals, right?
Oh, no.
You got to see, sometimes eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Sometimes you got to have that Old Testament.
But you know something though? And even as I spiritually continue to evolve, there are some things I'm just starting to learn. I understand the Old Testament from one angle, but I'm like, no, it's more to it than just. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's deeper. It's so many levels. Yes. It's so deep.
Yeah. Woosah.
Welcome everybody. Hey, Mr. Taylor. Hey, everyone. Hey, Lakeisha. Hey, Shantae. Hey, Sharice. Drop your businesses below, because again, we're going to talk about it, and we want those of you who are watching to definitely comment, interact with us, because right now we're having a conversation, but we want you to join in with us and share this video, because we're talking about a wide range of topics tonight. One of them we have to address we have to address is our Blackness. And that's one of the things that if you come on these live money talks, there is no denying that I'm a Black woman, and I will use my platform on my page, how I'm led to do that. And if it's for you, you can continue to keep watching. And if it's not, you can keep strolling. Deuces. So as we're moving forward in our conversation, you have to preface that because people, oh my God, I can't believe she took it there. Yes.
And can go 5 levels deeper without even thinking. Right.
So while we're here, what is one of the things that you're doing during this time? What are you doing to grow?
So one of the things I did, I showed you all of my books, but I just bought a slew of Miles Monroe books because he talks about economics and spirituality in a way that so many people are afraid of. And I believe that one of the reasons that we have hurt so bad as Black people is we forgot that money and spirituality have always been linked. How can you not see the link when the scriptures, I don't say the word of God, when the scriptures record so much about wealth, money, legacy, posterity,
and our right to it?
How do people not see the link? But people don't see the link because they don't see it in person. I honestly believe, you're a parent, that 80% of what we want is based upon what we see. The only reason kids want to walk is because they see us walk. The only reason kids want to go to college back in the late 80s or in the 90s, the only reason we want to go to college for Black folks was because we kept seeing a different world. We kept seeing the Cosby Show. We kept seeing Family Matters. Ooh. And now all you see now is shake that ass, shawty. And guess what our kids want to do?
They want to be Instagram models.
They want to be Insta hoes. That's what I call them.
Oh my God. We live on
Insta hoes. But then the same kids who on Insta hoes somehow or another can't get online and do no schoolwork, but they on Insta hoes. They on a whole life.
Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all of these things. But come on, y'all. Come on.
Now watch this. So this is 2010. Do you remember when the first reality shows came out?
So I liked the Real World. That was the one that I got attached to.
Okay.
That was the first ones that I remember. Good.
Now I don't know the exact date, but just go with me for a minute because I had to finish researching it. But I put a connection between. Well, I just told you when the college was at its highest because what was on TV.
Yeah.
But now we're dealing with kids. I had kids this semester at 14 telling we're gonna have a kickback. Okay, no problem. I ain't think nothing of it. And I'm okay with, come on. A lot of kids have snuck alcohol. It is what it is. I wasn't going to die over that. But when I tell you these heifers and heathens was running around talking about perks, mollies, and all these other things, I'm like, what? They're so easy to fight. I was like, what? But what are we showing them all day? Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, and all of that genre. And somebody go find out for me because I don't know off the top of my head, but I want to say this stuff started coming out about 2007, 2008-ish, somewhere in that latter part of the last decade. But these kids have grown up with their parents watching it, and if the parents watch it, what I mean the kids gonna do?
Yep, they're gonna get it by.
And because the scripture records that faith or belief comes based upon what you see, touch, hear, smell, taste. The scripture says faith comes by hearing, but hearing is one of the 5 senses. So take out hearing, put in taste. You know why? Some people are obese because they tasted chocolate and cheesecake. That's my problem.
That's chocolate and cheesecake. See why you on my lane? See why you all up in my business?
But they tasted it. And so we're in trouble because we're not monitoring what our people are seeing. And so because our people never see economic power, they don't believe they can have economic power. Sharice just said Real Housewives of Atlanta 10 years ago. 10
years ago, a decade.
So watch this. So I've got a kid in my classroom who's 14, 15, 16. That means Real Housewives started when they were 4, 5, and 6. But again, we're still playing checkers when they're playing chess. Because they know that because we are lower class, Another conversation. I promise you, Lord, I'll definitely not go there. Because they are low, we are predominantly lower class. The more entertainment we can find, the more we're gonna get stuck in that. So now everybody else is progressing, but we're stagnant because we got stuck through entertainment. Why else would they pay our men and our women 8, 9, and 10 figures over 2 decades? Because it keeps us entertained. I'm not gonna get no help tonight, and I already know this. Because nobody is putting together the economics with the spiritual, and that's why I'm in Dr. Miles Monroe, and I'm going through his stuff. I got to finish 2 more books first, because it's bigger. And for those who are watching, if you get nothing else from tonight, it's bigger than what you thought. It's bigger. This is not checkers time. This is chess time. And so for everybody who's watching, get the hell off your ass. Use your mind. I'm a preacher with potty mouth. Get over it. I tell the whole truth as I see it. I'm sorry. Get over it. Get off your behind. Am I saying never watch entertainment? No, because I believe the more you get your money right, the more you can enjoy life. But what I'm saying is you have to be conscious. You have to be mindful, because if you let it slip today, and one of my brothers from Chicago, his name is HB. He says it this way: you kill monsters in the crib. Don't wait until Godzilla is tearing your city up to decide you want to go kill Godzilla. No, the minute you see a little fox, the minute you see baby Godzilla, the minute you see Godzilla eggs, you're supposed to take them out.
You're supposed to take them out. That's right. On site. Now
on site. No questions asked.
That's right. So now let me ask you this: as a spiritual and a life coach, what are some suggestions that you have for entrepreneurs who are mentally going through anguish right now, that are being triggered by events?
The great prophet Shrek. I don't know if y'all have ever watched that great show, but I'm telling you, he was a prophet of the Lord Most High. He said, whoever wrote it, they was listening to God. He said, and I quote, "Better out than in." And what's getting all of us, because no matter what you do in life, you are first a human being. And what's getting us at the human being level is that we've got it in, and we don't feel we have a way to get it out. Because we don't believe in therapy. We don't believe in accountability partners. We don't believe in journaling, because that means I got to think and write. And for some odd reason, we believe that if we ignore the problem, it's going to disappear. Ignore that one roach. Don't kill that one roach. And in less than 30 days, you'll find yourself in a whole nother situation. So let it out. Does that mean it's going to happen instantly? No. But you got to let it out. Because I find that the more I admit where I am, and then the more I can process where I am. See, I came in and did work for an hour. It was only 1 hour, but guess what? It was one well-run hour. It was one well-executed hour. It was one productive hour. Because I spent the other time trying to get my mind right. If you don't let it out, it consumes you. If you don't let it out, it distracts you. If you don't let it out, it infuriates you. And you cannot win a war angry. I don't have no help today. You cannot win the war angry. Because if you're angry, you don't do the actions that win the war. How you gonna shoot your enemy and you miss because you're angry? You're supposed to cut his head off and you got his ear. So you got to get that out, because then you can function. Now, can you still function well with those emotions going on? You can when you deal with them, but it's hard to do that when you won't deal with them. You won't admit that you're mad. You won't admit that you're angry. You won't admit that there's something that needs to change, and that's the reason why we're struggling.
So, and let's say this, and in the context when you say we're struggling, you mean as a whole that we could be much more progressive as a people. Right. So individually, there's this whole, the mindset of, oh, well, I got it. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. But we have to think collectively. We have to think as a whole, right? So when Ladre is speaking, he's not speaking negatively in the sense of, hey, we're not going to make it. It is to awaken some things that we as a whole can do, so we are all progressing. Because just for one person to be prosperous and everyone else not to be prosperous, that's inequality. We are a community. We want to create an oasis for our people. We want to generate and create the Black Wall Street. We want to generate and create economics. We want to create and move forward progressively as a people.
Yeah.
So we want to speak a life into where we're going, but we have to address first. We got to
Where we are.
Right. We got to get the elephant out of the room. We have to all be introspective and look at ourselves. And this segues into our next topic, which would be entrepreneurship. Because one of the things that you just said that is very key is what, you spend time preparing to work. That right there, let me just preface that by saying, if you spend most of your time getting prepared, when it's time to execute, you can do what you need to done like that. But if you're trying to execute and you're not focused, or something's consuming your mind subconsciously, a bill, a friend, a family member, your spouse, children, your eggs, come on, somebody, they eat a productive time and you haven't addressed it on site. Then when it gets time to produce, you're not able to be at your maximum self because there's something that's subconsciously pulling you back. So, Ladre, what are the action steps? What are to do? She said we got to get it out. What are examples of getting it out? What does that look like?
I mentioned several. Therapy is one that we don't like because we've never seen it. And the super sanctified pole-pocketed folks, yes, I said that on purpose. The super sanctified pole-pocketed folks running around talking about you don't need that. The devil is a whole liar. Why would God create access, or why would God create us and give us access to this understanding if it's not productive? Stupid. Just stupid because they don't know any better. But what really drives me nuts is they refuse to learn. And so in coaching, I've been in this series talking about it's only one generational curse that you got to break. Just one. Not 3,000, one. And that generational curse is the rejection or the non-pursuit, non-application of knowledge.
Wow.
The whole reason kids want to walk is because of what? They saw us do it. But it becomes a generational curse if they only see us reject knowledge. Because if we reject knowledge, they look up to us and want to be like us, which means they do what?
They'll reject it by default.
And if they reject knowledge when they have children, which they will, sometimes at 13, 14, and 15, then what will the kids do? Reject knowledge. And when I say knowledge, I'm not talking about mindless information. I mean information with a real purpose.
Intentional.
So we can Google the shoes we want to buy. But we haven't gotten tired enough of our poverty and Googled how to break poverty. We'll Google the tickets for a concert. But we won't Google how do I own the venue where the concert is going on. Because we've never seen this stuff. And so I believe the first step is to realize something's wrong and go after it. The same way you want that nut. And the same way you want a sugar daddy, whatever you want, and you go after it, you've got to go after knowledge.
Talking on some women now. Ladies.
Babe, I'm an equal opportunity shooter. I shoot everybody, including myself. Because if you don't go after it, you can't bitch, moan, and complain that you don't have it. In the one I did today, I was talking about poverty being the result of the generational curse of rejecting knowledge. I grew up in poverty. Well, I grew up poor. Not because my parents were bad, but they had not been taught to go after knowledge, apply it, and do some other stuff with. They hadn't been taught that. So I couldn't be mad at them for not giving me what they didn't have. The old folks say, you can't get blood from a turnip. It ain't there. And so if you want to be an entrepreneur, which is totally different from a business owner, I'll come back to that later.
We're going to have to talk about that.
If you want to start something, you got to know what to do how to do it, and who's going to pay you for
it. It's literally when you said that, you know, a song popped in my head from Sister Act 2, If You Want to Be Somebody. If you want to go
somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you got to wake up and pay attention. The time is now or never to make your dream come true. But you've got to wake up and pay attention. Pay attention.
You got to pay attention, okay? So this is what we're talking about. So let's transition into entrepreneurship pros. What are the pros of being an entrepreneur?
Well, the entrepreneur is that person in business who wants control. So, of course, the biggest pro of being an entrepreneur is control. You set your prices. You decide when you're going to work. You decide what the serving size will be for, you know, however your idea works. You can take all the profits. But then again, the con is it's all on you. And you got to have big shoulders to carry the weight of everything being on you. Because as an entrepreneur, you don't have a team in place yet.
The self-employed.
So let me give this to everybody. And y'all kind of might want to write this down. There are 4 phases of business, just 4. You won't find this in a book. This is the Dre. Okay. Phase number 1, you got hustle man. If you go to my YouTube channel, Better Life Institute, you might see an old video with this one because I got to redo it. Hustle man, when I'm from Chicago, hustle man was on the train, was like, and his coat was open and he had chains falling down. He had insets. He had tapes and CDs, and you know, he might have had some beef jerky too. Now, if the beef jerky was spoiled and molded, he didn't care, because what was hustle man trying to make? Some money.
For right then and there. Yep.
Because he's got to pay his bills and take care of his family. But eventually, you should progress from hustle man to entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is the one who says, I got people buying my cakes. I got people buying my hair. I got people that want what I got. So let me put some structure to it. Let me organize it. Let me legitimate it. Let me legitimize it too. But again, it's who? Just you. And after you've gone through the trial and error of entrepreneurship, which is where most people get snuffed out.
And that's usually they're saying that they don't last more than 3 to 5 years.
They get snuffed out.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't handle your business idea and you just you running it, how in the hell can it grow to be $1 billion company and you employ 3, 4, 5,000 people and you couldn't handle just you? Because you're an arrogant son of a bitch. And you think you're the only one who know the answers. But you're supposed to grow your business. Okay, so let me come out of that. It's people jumping on. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be saved and be a good Christian. But it's people jumping on, and I just said stuff. I'm sorry. I can't help it. So you go from the entrepreneur stage.
He said it's people jumping out, y'all. I was not expecting that. Ooh. Be transformed.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hey, hold on. Let me put this disclaimer out there before I finish. I'm Peter. Of the 12 apostles, I'm Peter. I preach you under a pew, prophesy you under a pew, but I cut you too. But sometimes we just don't learn until we get cut. I'm sorry. Okay. And I ain't talking about no paper cut neither. And I cut me too. So as an entrepreneur, you finally got it going. But then you don't become a business owner until you got other folks in there who are working for you. And most of the time, we can't get to the business owner stage where people are working for us because we hadn't got our ego out the way.
Oh, that part right there. That ego. Ego will keep you capped, y'all. Many of y'all need a team. You need a team that's smarter than you, that knows more than you, who is more resourceful than you, because when you're a business owner or when you're just self-employed, it's just you. That's ego, that's pride. You're not able to expand. You're actually capping yourself. Some of you feel comfortable in just 5 figures or 6 figures by yourself. But if you had a team, you'll be able to easily scale up your business grow your business, increase your revenue and profits, and impact more lives. So I just want to interject that. So let's keep going in the 4 cycle. So now you're on the 3rd level.
The 3rd level is a business owner. And as a business owner, you don't have a 1099 assistant. You don't have a virtual person. No. You hired people. And Darbi, you know what scares me? Is we're so running around.
You stepping on his toes.
Oh, I'm coming for knees, ankles. I'm gonna step to cool to quad. I'm coming for all.
You snatch your wings.
Baby, I'm taking your future edges from your grandchildren. I'm coming for it all. Because if we don't get it from the root, we in trouble.
I promise y'all, these are so unscripted. Y'all definitely share this video and tag this, because you know Dre gonna give us the real on tonight.
Baby, I just don't know. I don't know any other way. But what drives me nuts, so I was reading A.G. Gaston's biography. If you've never heard of A.G. Gaston, please go Google and get his book. And one of the things that scares me is that we're so busy wearing with pride that we're self-employed. But when you're self-employed, you do not employ. When you're self-employed, you cannot employ. And the whole reason we got all this crap going on is because we self-employed. The devil is a whole liar. Stop letting self-employment be the cap on your business vision. Stop letting self-employment, because you by yourself, be the cap. What about the folks who didn't go to college and won't go to college and can't make it in college? What about the folks who lazy because they've never seen work ethic? What about your community? Who the hell cares if you self-employed and you made 6 figures by yourself? That's why my little brother's term white inferiority terrorism is true. And they can terrorize us because we don't have no money. And the money we got came from them. And if they pull their funding, that's why people dying over the PPL and EIDL. Because if they pull their funding, you screwed. It's enough money in our community right now that we can bounce our own money, but you just want to be self-employed.
And you know, I heard something key when you said that. Y'all that's watching this, I want y'all to comment. I want you to comment. When you're self-employed for a long period of time, they have already shown studies where it's linked to mental illnesses, depression, oppression, suppression. I want you all to remember this, because I literally heard this drop into my spirit as you were talking. Being self-employed for a long period of time, you will eventually self-implode. Yep. Being self-employed for long bouts of time,
for decades,
eventually self-implode. I want y'all to write that and comment that. So the goal is you go through your stages, okay? You know, you don't bust out your mama's womb and all of a sudden be like, hey, I'm here, I'm mature, I'm grown, I know everything. No, you have to go through a learning phase. So this is the same business. But being self-employed for a long bout of time will eventually lead to you self-imploding without your team. So, okay, so Dre, let's go to the 4th level.
So wait, let's go back to business owner. So now you have gone through the entrepreneur stage where you've learned your craft, because some people forget the entrepreneur stages. All of these stages are valuable, but your goal is not to get stuck in the first 2, because you have to learn your craft. You have to learn your marketing. You have to learn your audience. You got to learn all this stuff in business. You can't get away from it. I am so happy that I started in network marketing 16 years ago, because it was the least expensive, quickest way to get through these cycles. So now that all that stuff is done at the entrepreneurship stage, and yes, I have a course called The Art of Business where I teach this in detail, and it ain't cheap. I'm telling you now, you're going to pay 4 figures for this, because you can't get some of this from a book. Have you ever heard some of this I'm talking from a book? You won't get it there. Thank you, Lord. So anyway, so you're the entrepreneur, you've got your stuff together, and now you go to business owner to the point where you're hiring people. One of the reasons that the Black folks in Birmingham got through the Great Depression is because A.G. Gaston, kind of like the pandemic right now, was able to keep paying people. Even though everybody was losing stuff, he was able to keep paying people. So we didn't lose everything because we were in control. Another conversation. So after you become a business owner, and you've got your employees, you've got your support team in place, now you can move to the last step. The step everybody should be looking at. And I'm going to give you another part of this. The last step of being in business is called business mogul. Business mogul, M-O-G-U-L.
Y'all comment that, please.
Your goal is to get to the business mogul stage. Now, one of my coaching clients, her name is Vanessa Lynn. She's out of Detroit. She said, "Well, I don't think I want to be a business mogul because moguls are Oprah, moguls are Tyler Perry, moguls are Damon John, moguls are the people who, when their name comes out, everybody's coming. See, moguls don't struggle to get people on their feeds on social media." But they've put the time in. And one of the things, okay, here it comes. I gotta go here. Do not accept the comparison-itis with the moguls. You cannot compare yourself to the moguls unless you remember it took them decades to get there. Oprah didn't become a mogul for real until she was about 45, maybe 50-ish, give or take.
Right.
It wasn't when she first launched when she first started her show. That was 1986, if I remember correctly. Oprah became a mogul somewhere in the 90s, maybe early 2000s. I mean, like for real, like when Ayanla Van Zandt, she went off because who got a hold of her? A mogul.
Yeah.
You know, if you look in the music industry, you'll find out that somebody shot when a mogul put their hand on them. And your goal is to become a mogul. But if you don't become the big mogul, guess what? Vanessa said, I just want to be a mini mogul. A.B. Gaston was a mini mogul. He wasn't Bill Gates mogul, but he had the money to fund the civil rights movement. And you know, we're struggling because we can't fund nothing. You know why? Because we all self-employed. The whole point of pulling money together is so that we can make changes. And one way to pull money together the hard way is to get everybody to do a little bit. The easier way is to get it in the hands of a few, aka the moguls, so that they can do our bidding. But because we all self-employed, or because we all got a good little job. I did the equivalent of 6 figures last year. I did not make 6 figures, but I did the equivalent of 6 figures between my job income and business. 79,000 is 6 figures after taxes, because that's what hit my hand. But I ain't mogul yet. But guess what? I'm building. And sometimes we get discouraged because we're between phases.
Oh, I want y'all to comment that between phases. Oh, this is
okay. It's okay to be between phases. Because guess what? You're between phases in your age. We call them tweens now. They're not quite a teenager. But they're not completely a little kid. So we've been between phases all our lives.
That's right.
You know? You're legal 18, but you ain't grown. Guess what? You're between phases.
That's right.
Stop being mad. Stop beating yourself up because you are between phases in business. It's not going to happen instantly. But because we watched Real Housewives of Atlanta, because we watched all of this stuff and we're buying into what we're being shown without having the skills to know the truth, to find the truth, and to spit out the bones, we just buy into what we see. Yeah. The 4 stages of business.
The between phase, y'all, that's key. What Dr. Ladre is sharing with us is the pros and cons, the falls of entrepreneurship. For those of you who are watching, I know that y'all are typing notes because I don't see as many comments, but y'all keep on typing your notes. Drop your questions below as well, because we really want to delve into entrepreneurship, and we really want authentic questions, as you all always ask. For those of you who are listening through podcasts, you're listening to Money Talks with Darbi from the Business Credit Agency. You're listening to Dr. Ladre Weathersby, and you'll also be able to hear this or watch this live on YouTube as well as on my Facebook page, Darbi. So the next phase of once you reach these phases, right? When you're going from the between phase to where you've made it, individually, each of you know what that business mogul looks like to you. And I was going to say, but I didn't want to cut you off at the time because you were flowing. The different levels. So you can be at a state level. You can be in your community. You can be at a local level, which will be the first of, you could be in your community, which is in your backyard, literally. So through your city. Then you can upgrade and go to your state. Okay, that's a different level of mogulship. Mm-hmm. Then you can upgrade and go multi-states. So you might be in regions. Okay, that's a different level. You know, you're in different regions. You might be in the Southeast region or the Northeast, or you might be on the East Coast or in the Midwest or on the West Coast region. So these are different levels, right? Then at that point, you can be across the country and on a national level. And then you can be in multi-countries and then on an international level. So y'all, there are so many different levels of mogulship. I think that's what I want to call it, mogulship. You know, and understand what he just said is so key, because a lot of times people will walk in on your chapter 10, right, Doc, or my chapter 10, and they're just starting and be like, oh my God, man, she's killing it. Man, he's killing it. They didn't see the nights that we liked. They didn't see the nights that we prayed and cried, didn't know how we were going to make $1. Do you hear me? $1. They didn't see when we was doing working in or odd jobs to make sure that
8 streams of income. 8 streams of income. Well, that's 9. 8 streams of income. Because we got to make it happen.
In between. So now when you see different people who you are influenced by, definitely understand the stories. That's why I really try to be transparent on the live videos, because I know that you all as entrepreneurs, you have a different level, a different mentality than someone who might be employed. And even if you're employed, it takes a different mindset to go from employee to even being self-employed. And then it takes a different mindset to go from self-employed to being a business owner. And then it takes a different mindset to go from business owner to mogulship.
Right, to any level of mogulship. But watch this. If you go from a community mogul to a city mogul.
Oh, I love how you're doing this. You better write a book on mogulship. You heard it here first, y'all.
To a state mogul. To a multi-state mogul. To a regional mogul.
Come on now.
You have to have a coach. But most people don't want to go read. Let me tell you something. I've been an educator for 9 years, but I started in 2004. I took 7 years off to begin to build business. And in those 7 years, I rented rooms. I drove Uber. I drove Lyft.
Talk about it.
Amazon. I still have my legal shield agency that gives me passive and residual income. Another conversation. Maybe we'll come back to that.
Yeah, definitely.
There was a time I gave blood. I was selling plasma. I was even told, y'all pray for me because this is gonna be live. Oh Lord. I was even told at my young, tenderest, super svelte, sexy self. It's like, hey, go. Hell, hey, they doing something over here. You can get paid. Found out it was a sperm donation place. Now I ain't go through that. Okay, I ain't go through that one. But in that entrepreneur stage, you gotta get it. And what happens when the contract falls through? I've had 4 or 5 recent coaching clients, 3, I think, with my coaching programs. And I told you, they're not cheap. I don't do the $9 a month. I got time for that crap.
That's right.
And the payment didn't go through at the date. So now that $500 that I was going to use to buy some more ads and to get some more equipment, I got to come up with the money and do with the money otherwise to make the same thing happen. That's why I can tell you, don't beat yourself up between the phases. It's a part of life. But I did forget to mention something. When you go from hustle to entrepreneur, the difference is, as the entrepreneur, you're legitimizing your business. So the paperwork is behind you now. So now you can start talking to Darbi about credit because Sharice is a mess. Pray for her.
I love Sharice. Boy, y'all just telling y'all's confessions on these lives. For those who don't see that, Sharice said I would have my eggs were too old.
But as an entrepreneur, because you're starting to do paper and stuff, you can go talk to Darbi about business credit because you got something to follow. It's a paper trail.
It's a paper trail because from the legal aspect, everything is black.
Everything's paper trail. But that's where I'm going here. So watch this. So the hustle man just trying to make some money. The entrepreneur is a control freak usually, but they're getting their stuff together. The business owners, you have to have your stuff in place. So it's somewhere between the phases of entrepreneurship and business owner that you start learning the support stuff you need for a real business. And please, somebody hear me well when I say this. If you're playing the business game, you better have the business resources. If you're playing the business game, you better have the resources. So there's no way in hell you can go from entrepreneur to business owner if you don't have legal. There's no way in hell you can go from entrepreneur to business owner if you don't have accountant. There's no way in hell that you can go from entrepreneur to business owner if you don't have salespeople. You've got to have, these are the parts of business. But again, we want to stay self-employed. And we put a badge on our chest like self-employed is something to be happy about. It's like having a 60-year-old talking about,
I got my driver's license.
No, it's like a 70-year-old finally got their driver's license. You should have done that a long time ago. But because we're running through the phases, you do have people who should be really business owners, and they're still getting their stuff together. How you been self-employed for 8 years and you don't have NAN bank account for your business? You don't know where your money is. Right.
Oh, David, shout out. So that's why I joined Darbi, because it's time to get this thing in order. Y'all, I did not ask for that. I'm just, we keeping it real on these.
The truth is the truth.
He joined the business credit agency as a member, and we're helping him get his foundation together. And during this time, Dre, we found so many entrepreneurs, literally thousands of entrepreneurs who we have helped begin their process of getting their business in order because they found out, whoa, with the PPP, with the EIDL, I need to have my stuff together. So literally the videos that we've done have touched thousands and reached thousands. Yes. The audio book that we put out, not the audio book, the ebook that we put out, the intention is to reach you where you're at in your business. And you're absolutely right. So many people have come to learn that what they thought was business was just a hobby. Because according to the law, which is everything is black and white, you were not legitimate yet. Your business was not consummated yet. You were not brought together as one to even be in a position where you can profit in your business. And a lot of times the principle of being in order, many of you will take off in your business once your business is in order. Oh my.
We started the conversation talking about alignment, right?
Oh, you know what? They didn't hear that part. Can you go into that?
Listen, we started the conversation off before we went live. We were talking, Darbi was like, how you doing? I said, listen, I'm struggling because I'm out of alignment. And it's a literal forcing myself to get it out. Woosah, go eat a piece of cake.
A little cheesecake.
That feels good. But you have to force yourself. But this alignment thing is not just you. So okay, let me give y'all this. Lord, I'm giving y'all all my good stuff. So there are 3 U's if you're going to do business. There are 3 U's if you're going to do business. Please write this down. You have you, the individual. And I told Darbi I was struggling because I had to get me together. There is no business if you, the individual, are not together. There is no business if you, the individual, are not together, because how you are as a person is how you will do business. If you are a shady person, you will have a shady business. If you are a control freak, you will choke out your business. If you are insecure, your business will show that you are insecure. If you don't know the answers, your business will show you don't know the answers. So you have got to get you together, the candidate. But you, the person who's single, might be like, well, hey, let me hire Shawty. You've got to separate you, the person, from you, the business owner. And then last but not least, the last you is you, the business entity itself. Because when you start out as just you and you're creating this entity, you're creating this child that hopefully will last long after you, the person, and you, the business owner, are gone. But it's hard to build a business that is separate from you when you don't separate you, the business owner, from you, the person. David just said, I've been in the game since 2002. Big things are coming. COVID was a blessing. Man, anything that happens, everything in life is either an opportunity or a tragedy. And sometimes the tragedy is there to produce and to show you the opportunity. But that means you got to wake up and pay attention.
Right.
There's a level of learning. There's a level of preparation. There's a level of foresight that must be in place to make an opportunity out of a tragedy.
Ooh. Y'all comment that below. I make opportunities out of tragedies. I want everyone who's watching this to comment that below. I make opportunities out of tragedies. He talked about the 3 U's.
Girl, was that good?
Woo! You saw I had to remove myself from the screen.
You have to go holler and shake your head like you're in church.
Because you know, I'm a very call and response kind of person. I'm like, let me just get off here and just let you just take over. Because literally, you were so right on so many levels, and I had to learn that. I had to learn that part. Darbi as a businesswoman is different than Darbi, as a wife, different than Darbi as a mother, different than Darbi as a daughter, different than Darbi as a friend. Because otherwise, you will be linear in your approach, and every relationship is not a business relationship.
Woo.
Some of y'all need to catch that. Some relationships are just to be. You know what I'm saying? Some relationships are just to be present in the moment, to enjoy. You got a friend that you can just cut up with. You don't have to talk business. They're not going to do business with you. So stop trying to force it down their throats.
Right.
They're just a friend that you laugh with. You need that variety in your life. Darbi,
emotionally, that's it.
That's it.
They will never spend money with you, but they support you emotionally.
That's it. They make you laugh. So I'm telling y'all, this right here, you have to understand this, or you will ruin relationships. Entrepreneurs have the ability to ruin relationships. I told y'all we're going to get real and talk about it on tonight.
Tell the whole truth.
Because if you misdelegate your relationships, who are you? Who are you? I want y'all to write that question down, because he said that we have the 3 U's, but who are you, which is the first level. Mm-hmm. And out of that stems everything else. Out of that stems everything else. Darbi, as a person, I'm social. I love people. I love helping people. I love family. I love to go out. I like to dance. I can skate. You know what I'm saying? I can like break it down like Sierra. Like I can really, really dance. I like to sing. I like to play around. I'm a jokester. I like comedy. I'm cool. Like I can kick back. I'm cool. But Darbi, as a businesswoman, I'm a shark. I'm analytical. I'm on my stuff. I believe in follow up. You know what I'm saying? I believe in educating people. Darbi, as a Black woman, I stand with my Black men. You know, I can go there with it. I can shake my neck with the best of them, and I can sit with President Obama and Michelle Obama. Okay, somebody. So I like to have a good time, but you have to know yourself. You have to know yourself on all those levels. And even yet and still, Darbi, as a woman, is always evolving. But the core of who I am, I love God. I know the scripture. I know the spiritual aspect. I know a lot of different things. But depending upon what you show me, lets me know what I can reveal to you. Because Darbi also understands wisdom. And Darbi had to learn that everything ain't for everybody. Wisdom is discretion as business owners, because you have to be able to meet people where they are.
I'm writing that down.
You got to meet people where they are. So there's sometimes you will see Darbi the jokester, and then there's sometimes you will see Darbi being very serious and say, hey, y'all, we got to talk about this right now. And then there's other times where Darbi makes a mistake and I have to correct myself and I have to apologize and I have to be humble and I have to say, you know what, I missed that and I don't have everything together and I need to hire somebody who can do that because that's not my strength.
Mm-mm.
That's being humble. That's being humble. And you all have to remember, when you're a business owner, the pro is that you get to serve people. Service, customer service, client service, all of that, serve. Some way, somehow, millennials, my generation, feel like we're the ones who have to be served. Or like, we're the ones that's like, okay, we can miss apprenticeship and not learn from anybody, and that we let somebody else do it, and we think that's our route. Let me tell y'all this. You're going to have to learn from somebody. You're going to have to learn from somebody. You have to humble yourself to learn from somebody. Be honest with yourself that you don't know everything, and be okay with that. You're not supposed to know everything, because if you did, there would be no need for relationships.
Right.
The richer your relationships are, the better you are.
Yes.
Many people have been taught, and you mentioned about network marketing. Many people have been taught, if people don't do business with you, to just cut them off, right? That relates in business. Like, for instance, okay, let's say that, let's say Dr. Ladre was like, Darbi, okay, you asked me one time, hey, Darbi, can you come to this conference? And my schedule was busy, and I said, no, I won't be able to make it, right? But then I came back and I asked you, hey, Dr. Ladre, would you be able to come on live? I invited you to come on here because I know you have wisdom and insight that we could share. If he would have had the mentality where you didn't come to my conference, you was booked, you didn't do, you know what I'm saying? He was like, oh, I just cut you off. Then we wouldn't be able to have these relationships to help and bless the greater good.
Yep.
Now, when he asked me something, I genuinely had plans on my schedule, right? And he genuinely was able to come on here. Relationship. When he needs something and I am available, guess who will be there to support? I will, because of
let me jump in real quick. So a lot of times we get mad about the good old boys. But the real reason we mad is because we don't have our own good old boy network. Because most of the time we haven't put the work in to build the relationships. You know, the reason why y'all like affirmative action, because it helps you to get around the relationships. But we're human. You cannot be mad when the president of a company brings on his son as a vice president, unless the son is completely and utterly unqualified. The only time you should
well,
is when they are completely unqualified.
Yeah. We had a couple of presidents, but I'm not going to throw any names out there.
Right. I agree. But it is what it is. And it stops spending so much time trying to get around how it is and accept how it is and move on. This road shouldn't be blocked. Okay, well, it's blocked. You got two choices. You're going to go around or you're going to sit there. What you going to do? Man, I don't know why this road blocked. This road went up. Shut up. Go around. The world is not ending over that. Yeah.
Woo, now you just talked about something. Let's talk about focus and how to get in alignment. So the first thing, you got to know who you are. Then you can break out and become you on all three levels. I love that. I love how you broke that down. Didn't y'all love that? If y'all love that, throw some hand claps, throw some hearts, just, something, because that was absolutely beautiful how you broke that down and with the clarity that you broke it down. So let's talk about alignment. For those of you who are watching and you feel like you're in pieces, okay? This is over here, this is over here, this is over there, this is over there. Your mind is in different areas. You're not able to focus. Dre, how can we get in alignment?
All right, I'm gonna take my camera down for a second. So I want you to see. This is how I stay focused. One dry erase board, that's my to-do list for today. Another dry erase board, that's my weekly flow. Another dry erase board, that's my year. And so what I do, because I can only really tell you the principle and how I use it, my focus is I write it down. You can't write it down until you identify it. And you can't identify it until you admit. So admit, okay, Lord help me, I'm all over. Why am I all over? Because this happened, this happened, this happened. If you don't know why you're all over, it's hard to deal with it because you can't identify it. And then once you identify it, writing down is the plan. How are you going to fix this? Sometimes we're out of alignment because we got our hands in too many pots. And none of them are related. I have an ice tray because the refrigerator in this house I'm renting out. That ain't how I roll, but it is what it is. So this ice tray has these, I want to say 6 things that are totally unconnected, and the last 4 are connected. 8 are separate, but the last 4 on both sides are connected. And if you put water in one, it's going to fill the other. And sometimes we forget because we've got our hands in so many things that everything our hands are in will eventually touch. If you reach your hand in an ant pile by mistake and you leave it there, the ants are coming up. So we have to write stuff down because some things we're involved in we shouldn't be. I hate when I get business cards. I had one. Lord, if you help me remember what it is. The lady had like 17 different things on her business card.
Oh man. Ooh.
And we know she's in the hustle stage.
That's key, what you just said.
And watch this. I talked earlier about the different ways I made money, but I didn't put all 9 of those things on. That wasn't my business card. You should have a major and a minor in business. Okay, maybe I'll give you a third that you do once in a while. So right now, I think I have 8 or 9 income streams. But they're not all my business. When I get bored and Amazon say, we're going to pay you $100 to go drop off 5 packages, I'm getting out the house because I've been in the house since March 13th. But that has nothing to do with my business. If my church is 45 minutes away and I will cut my Lyft app on because if I'm going to move my car, if I'm going to use my time, I should make some money. That's how my mind is. So I'll do 1 or 2 rides on the way home anyway. I was driving anyway, but that's not my business. I have a legal shield business. I have Better Life Institute. That's all I have. They feed each other. They're related because I'm still educating. And then my profession is an educator. So as an educator, I teach. In Legal Shield, I teach. In Better Life, I teach. That's alignment. But you want to be a plumber, a photographer, a caterer, a coroner. And none of that stuff is aligned. If you're in cosmetology or you do hair, I'm okay with you selling hair because you do hair. That makes sense.
It's in the same. Yeah, because you can have one industry, but you can have 12 streams in that one industry.
A.G. Gaston calls it being stacked. You need to go get the book from A.G. Gaston because when he started out selling food because, again, low-class folks like to be entertained and eat. It is what it is. But then he started an insurance business. Then he got to the funeral home. Then he got to the cemetery. He went vertical in his business. And many times we're not in alignment because we're horizontal. I mean, we every damn angle on a protractor because you try to do everything for everybody. Take your time, identify the problem, identify why it's a problem, then create a plan to fix it. Please don't make this simple. That's why I'm an educator. My job is to take complex ideas and simplify them. I have a 7-figure, I'm number 1 money on a legal show. He said, if it's more than 3 or 4 steps, it's too much. Maybe 5, but if it's more than that, it's too much. Now, he didn't have a whole lot of education either, so I'm okay. 3, 4, maybe 5 steps. But if it's 92 steps, that's too much.
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. You know, one of the things I'll say to that too, one of the things that I do is that I have legal pads, right? So whenever I feel that overwhelmed or I start feeling like, ooh, I'm getting anxious, right? Because there's a lot of things on the to-do list or things that I need to outsource or things, what I'll do is exactly what you said. I'll sit down, I'll take however long it takes, and I will release myself through writing. I will write down every minor detail of things that need to get accomplished, something that I said that I was going to do. I'll write it down. And then I'll take that huge list and then I'll categorize them. So, I mean, on the list, it can be all over the place. I'll have a personal list of things I'm going to do. I have a business list. I have a family list. I'll just have all of the list. Then there'll be, it's like gumbo, you know, you just put it all out there in their columns. Then I'll prioritize the items on those lists. When it comes to personal, what's going to bring the most satisfaction?
Yes.
What I need to do. When it comes to business, which one is going to be producing the profit and the revenue? Those are my priority items. And then everything else is secondary to that. And then when it comes to me, what's going to make me whole, what's going to make me full so I can continue to pour into these other areas. Doing that mind dump, I call it mind dumping.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, let me tell you, that lifts so much weight. And sometimes, I mean, I would advise that you mind dump as often as you need to. Some of you who are watching this or listening to this, you have a lot on your plate or on your mind, and you just need to mind dump. You know, like Dre was saying, get it out. You need to dump it, write it down. And when you write it down, you might not categorize it or organize it in the same setting or the same sitting. You might just need to get it out. I promise you all, if you just get it out, you're going to feel relieved. You won't feel anxiety. You won't feel anxious. You won't feel, oh my gosh, I need to be doing this. It'll be out. Then the next day or a few hours later, you might come back and then organize it. Then once it gets organized, those are your action steps.
Yep.
Nothing more, nothing less. Those are the things that you have to accomplish, because when you accomplish one thing, two things, three things, you begin to feel more in alignment, because now you're free and you're doing. Mm-hmm. See, it's the doing part where people get caught up too now.
Yep.
Oh, I got so much to do. Okay, but when are you going to knock it off your to-do list? When are you going to knock it off your task? Or if you are not able to do it, who are you going to outsource it to? Or what system do you have in place that can automate that task for you?
Right. I love it. I love it. Now watch this. I know that many times we get it better. David said good night, y'all. Many times good night, David. Because a visual. Let me give you a visual. You ever had an upset stomach? And sometimes you can't drink water and get rid of it. Sometimes you can't eat and get rid of it. You got to go boo-boo. And the minute all that come out, you be like, oh my God, woo! I feel 15 pounds lighter. Oh my God. And whatever you were trying to do that you couldn't focus on is able to be done. Because what? You got it out.
That's right.
And so many of us need a good old purging.
Ooh, that's good.
Because at some point, so many of us are carriers. You cannot be an entrepreneur. You cannot be a business owner, as I defined it, and hire without learning how to not carry everything and everybody. And many times what we're dumping on is getting rid of trying to carry everybody. I got big shoulders. What? I got big shoulders. What? But I can't carry everybody. My uncle Jim Rohn, I miss Jim Rohn so much. He says it better. He says, you can carry one, maybe carry two, but you can't carry three on your back. And that was one of the most on point lessons in my life, because what really happens is we end up carrying people who we drag, and we lose so much energy. We lose so many resources. We lose so much focus. We lose so much time. We get bumped out of alignment because we're dragging dead weight. Why are you dragging the folks who trying to go west and you know you have been going east? And they don't want to go east. Cut them folks off. It doesn't mean you kill them, but you eliminate their access to you. Now, when you see them in the grocery store, do you still speak? Hey, girl, good to see you. Yes, but you don't let them have access to you because you can't carry everybody. And don't you know that some folks aren't worthy to be carried by you?
That's deep what you just said right there.
We're not worthy. My Uncle Jim Rohn, I'm telling you, I miss him. Never met him a day in my life, but he's my uncle. He's an old white man, but never met him a day in my life.
Jim Rohn.
Baby, Jim Rohn said, work where you need it. No, sorry. He said, work where you deserved, not
where you needed. Yep.
I'll tell you something. As a coach, I learned, because y'all are getting some of my old stuff. I ain't even got to the new stuff yet. I put it on Facebook maybe in 2016 or 2016, something like that. I said, y'all better get this stuff while it's priced like this now, because I was learning my craft. I was perfecting my craft. And I was accepting the fact that I'm totally different than every other coach out there, because I have a depth that God has given me. I have a breadth that God has given me that many coaches just don't have. And that doesn't mean that they're not good. It doesn't mean that they're worth less. It's just that we're different.
So how can
embrace that?
So how can entrepreneurs who are watching this, how can they get in contact with you for a coaching session?
Good question. So you can find me on Facebook. My business page is Dr. Ladre Weathersby, the Better Life Coach. You can also go to the Facebook page, Better Life Institute. YouTube, Better Life Institute. Instagram and Twitter, Betta, B-E-T-T-A, Better Life Coach. So you can find me. You can also go click any of the videos on the page, and the calendar link is in the comments. You can skip. I'll do a 30-minute session with you. It is what it is, because I know everybody's not going to be my client. I know that, but I also know that God called me to be an investor in people. I invest in the stock market. I invest in people. You know why? I'm a nigga from Chicago. Somebody invested in me. Somebody saw this little smile that I didn't think was all that special. Somebody saw this big old head that I didn't think had all of what's in there in it, and they invested when they knew I would never be their client.
Wow. And
part of being the business mogul, doesn't matter if you're a mini mogul, doesn't matter if you're a regional mogul, is you must become an investor in people. Because if we tell the whole truth, if we tell the whole story, somebody invested in us. Freely. With their good stuff. I ain't talking about the ramen noodle quality that they got. I ain't talking about the Chinese food that they got. I'm hungry, y'all. I ain't talking about the Chinese food quality. They gave you the steak and potatoes. They gave you the organic, free range. And they did it freely. Now, did they give you all of it for free? No, because I'm worthy of my hire. But they gave you enough based upon where you were to get to the next place. And that's what people kill me. They say, I don't know what to do. What's in front of you to do? What opportunities in front of you right now? I don't know who to talk to. Who's in front of you right now? Who can you access right now? Whose book can you get right now? Whose webinar can you watch right now? Whose podcast can you listen to right now? Whose YouTube video can you find when? Right now. Take advantage of what's in front of you now. So it's called
chills.
Stop getting caught up in the future. And watch this. I have to grab my own self out of the future. Because once you mentally cross over into business owner, you have to become the visionary. And sometimes I have to grab myself by my own collar, like I just showed y'all. Nigga, get your drag. You was in trouble when your mother called your whole name. So how much trouble am I in when I call my whole name to myself? Because I gotta pull me from being so future focused that I'm pathetic in the present. Please don't be future focused and pathetic in the present.
Woo! I saw something today that hits on that. Oh goodness. What was that I had to take a screenshot. I'm doing which I have to say exactly how I saw it.
Good.
It says, beware of destination addiction.
Yep.
A preoccupation with the idea that happiness is the next place, the next job, and with the next partner. Until you give up the idea that happiness is somewhere else, it will never be where you are. Woo, that's thick.
Yes. And many of us are addicted. We call it shiny object syndrome, network marketing. So company industry A is there, but and company A is doing okay. Oh, but company B is there. Oh, company C is there. Oh, sit your behind down and plant roots. Make the decision. Decide, put to death the other options. I'm 16 years in business with Legal Shield on the network marketing side. I am 9 years in business with Better Life Institute. And people come ask me on a regular basis, hey, look at something. No, because I put my stake in the ground. I built me a foundation. I married my future. So why am I going to cheat on it? And some people that are watching this and will watch this, even on replay, the real problem, you're out of alignment because you're cheating on your future. Something else has caught your attention. Some new gimmick. I'm sorry. It could be legit, but something new has caught your attention, but it's not you. You're looking at them and trying to be them. Be you. I'm a better life coach. I'm not trying to be the relationship coach, but relationships are part of life. I'm not a spiritual coach, but spirituality is a part of life. I'm not a business coach to go make money, but making money and doing business is a part of life. I'm good with me being the better life coach. And it took me 3 years. I've done over 200 videos. But it took me 3 years to firmly accept and plant myself in who I am and not cheat on my future. It wasn't easy. That's why I can coach. And I'm not, and my business stuff, I'm not going to walk you through your business. That's not me. That's not my coaching. But I got to help you get your mind right. Because if the mind is right, then we could do some stuff. Last thing I'll say on that. You know, if you've ever been to the circus, people always wonder how the elephant is bound by that little bitty rope. Just go with it. And what people forget is that the elephant is bound by the rope, not because the rope is made of titanium, plutonium, nothing crazy like that. The elephant has been trained since a baby elephant that rope will keep them in line. And even though they're a grown elephant weighing 3 and 4 tons, that little bitty rope is still keeping them in place. That's what we do when we grow our mind. We break the ropes that aren't strong enough to hold us in the first place.
Ooh, that's deep.
But if we're in alignment with the generational curse of rejecting knowledge, of not going after it, of not attaining it, of not applying knowledge, then we're just like the elephant that's been hung up, sweet Jesus, by that little bitty rope. And sometimes it's the little bitty foxes that are stopping us from the magnitude of the impact we're supposed to make. Align yourself. Set yourself up. Plant yourself. Make the decision, carry it out. When you need help, ask. Please get your ego out the way. Ego stands for edging God out. But it also stands for exceptional God only. I need him. I need him to get the treasure out of me for everybody else. I'm a little miserable when I'm not pouring. Because I ain't doing it to get your money. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it because somebody poured into me.
Chill. You know what, y'all? And on that note, we thank you all for tuning in to Money Talks on tonight. Comment.
One of my parents just logged in talking about, yes, this is good. Her son was in the classroom next to me. They went to church for 8 years with me. Yeah. She was like, this is good. I'm gonna mess with her later.
For those of you who are just tuning in, definitely tune into the replay. You heard it directly from Dr. Ladre Weathersby on tonight. Contact him directly. He's able to be found on Facebook, on Instagram as Betta, BETTA Life Coach. And you're able to reach out to him on Facebook as Ladre, LADRE, Weathersby, WEATERSBY. For those of you who are listening via podcast or watching us live on YouTube, you can definitely reach out to him. Thank you to everyone who tuned in on tonight. Comment below and let us know what's one thing that you learned from tonight. And tune in next week as we have Money Talk session. As you all know, these sessions are some good conversations. And we thank you so much, Dr. Ladre Weathersby, for tuning in. He is your better life coach. He is a better life coach. You all have a wonderful evening. And this live is officially over. Good night.